Okay, back on the podcast entry or YouTube video entry. Welcome, guys, to this brand new concept of mine. I thought I'd just, I'm in the car, had the mics, booted up. Thought I'd just talk bowling, and I don't know where I'll put this, but probably on YouTube. Probably just take the audio and put it on Spotify, maybe for people to listen. And yeah. So I recently just posted at the time of this recording. I don't know when I put this up. I hope I put it up today. But at the time of this recording, I just filmed a Instagram video or Instagram/Facebook video on consistency, because a lot of the people commenting, well, a lot, we're still growing, but a few of the guys or a few of the people in my comment sections are, they talk about lacking consistency. Their game is inconsistent. What does that mean? Consistency is very relative. It could differ very much from person to person. It could be inconsistency in the release, the timing could be inconsistent, backswing. It could be anything. Most of the time when people talk inconsistency allergies are destroying me. A lot of the times when people talk inconsistency, this is probably 70 to 80% of all inconsistency cases is when people are not hitting their target consistently. So that's when they say that they're inconsistent, at least in my experience. So, but even then, it could mean a lot. It could mean, there's a reason for you not being consistent in hitting your target. Like I said, it could be so much. Release, how you're releasing the ball, how you're coming, your position, your hand position when you're sliding to the foul line at the finish line, how you're releasing the ball. Like I said, timing. But like I said in the Instagram video, I was talking about just briefly, is that fixing consistency, or there's really no fixing consistency in that term, but in that sense, but you can always get more consistent. And the easiest way, there's a Lamborghini, the easiest way to get better consistency is to make your approach as easy to execute as possible. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you have a lot of excess movement or unnecessary movements in your approach, maybe your ball or maybe your hand goes behind your back, that hands need to come back. You take it, it's hard in the car, but if your swing path it goes back and behind your back, the ball needs to get back online before the point of release. Otherwise, you're going to go through your body, and we all know that's impossible. So if it goes behind your back, you have to bring it back, and by then you're probably off balance in your whole approach, but you have to somehow release the ball. Your body usually finds a way, but then timing, balance, everything's off, and it's never going to be the same. The balance is going to be off by this much in this shot, maybe a little bit less the next, maybe a little bit more after that. So that creates inconsistency. So back to what I meant on how how you can make your approach as easy as possible is if you can eliminate unnecessary movements in your approach. The best way to describe this is the straighter your backswing is, like in general, like I could talk for hours about what the best like swing path is. It's actually not like dead straight, but I don't want to get off track here. But the straighter like your backswing can be, we're talking like in general here, the easier it is to repeat. I don't know if you can see my movement here, but I'm trying to, it's, you know, it's, I can't hear, but still, a lot has changed. You know, straight backswing isn't, like I said, like straight backswing isn't like what is being taught today. Today we're doing like the most efficient, or the like the best way to create the most effective bowling shot today. You know, rev rate, power, release, everything. I mean, if you look at EJ Tackett is just you know, study EJ's backswing or the whole approach, and you'll see what the most effective bowling shot today with the thumb in the ball, or, you know, in all honesty, just overall today, is EJ's approach. But what I wanted to say, because I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but it's worth mentioning because I don't want to get caught by the actual Mark Bakers and the coaches out there bashing me for just talking nonsense here. But EJ, and a lot of guys do this, but EJ does this so like he does this to a T. Like, his backswing goes up, but it goes a little bit outside from his body. It goes up outside from his body. And where does a ball go? If you take it out, like I said, if you take your ball and it goes behind your back, where does it have to go? It has to go back to the right. Back to the right from behind your back, because you can't go through your body. Obviously, if you're left-handed, it goes to the right behind your back, and it has to get back to the left. But if instead of going behind your back, if you go back and you go out to the right as a right-hander, the ball does the same thing as if it was behind your back. It comes from the right, it goes down to the left, and it gets so close to the slide foot at the bottom of the swing, and that's where you create, you know, that's this. You know? I don't know if you can, like, that's like, you're down there. Yeah, you're gonna bash me. I'm fucking driving and doing this. That's okay. You know, we're all alive. You know. So he goes out to the right with the ball at the top of the back swing, and then he comes back, and then the ball has to come left again, and that's when he's, you know, he creates all that power because his hand position at the bottom of the swing is so close to his sliding foot, and his hand is on the inside, and then he comes. I bowled 20 games with EJ at the World Series, and it was a fucking clinic. The man put on a fucking clinic. Excuse my language. He put on a fucking clinic. It wasn't even his best bowling, like, ever. But EJ's average is 232 this season. It was a fucking clinic. I don't care what anybody says. Like, bowling with him 20 games was just... I watched every shot. Just to try. I took as many mental images. My nose is freaking killing me. as many mental images as I possibly could, because whatever you tried to do or whoever you tried to mimic, that man is who you want to be watching right now. Unless you're two-handed. Then obviously you got to be watching Jason Belmonte, Chris Vi, or Chris Bicep, as I've seen a couple of t-shirts on Instagram right now. But sorry, we got a little sidetracked there. But that was a little gold nugget of information. But consistency is just in general making your whole approach as easy as you possibly can. Like, make it as easy to replicate or repeat as you possibly can. That's when you create consistency. I struggle with consistency in my release because, oh boy, here we go. I wasn't going to get into this because this is a long conversation, but here we go. So the reason why I struggle with consistency is I throw it really, I have a high back swing, I'm tall and lanky, as somebody said on my Instagram. Tall and lanky makes it easier to throw it like I do. It's not wrong, but EJ Tackett is not tall and lanky. He's anything but tall and lanky. So, sorry to burst your bubble, buddy, but I have a high back swing. I throw it hard. Throwing it slower is one of my weaknesses, which I'm working on. I have been working on it. It's like my natural approach is really fast. With that being said, I also like to grip it and rip it, which is very cool and all, but it just creates all the wrong reactions down lane. Like my natural, or what I think, I've worked on like changing releases and hand positions, and I've tried a few things that I'm working on right now, but like my issue in consistency is right now is that I want it a little bit too much. I tend to grip it and rip it a little bit too much, especially after 3, 4, 5, 6 strikes. And we tend to, we want that 7th one, But when I bowl the best, especially on tour, that's when I find the right speed, and I just stay in that. I just stay in the right speed. I do the same thing with my hand. Everything kind of just happens automatically. Obviously, at that level, it's when things just click, you just gotta hold on to it, man. It's at least when you're in my I'm very aware of it too. That doesn't help me a lot. Well, yes and no. I'm aware of now where when I do something wrong, like I feel it immediately before I didn't. But the negative thing is that if you're too aware, you're always thinking about it, and I don't want to be thinking about too much, like when I'm bowling. So, but that's a give and take, I guess. You can also just learn how to. No, scratch that. I'm not gonna sit here and say that you should be learning to thinking too much, but you can just learn to handle it, or just with time, when when it just becomes part of your subconscious, I guess. But this is deep stuff. This is definitely not what I wanted to get into. We're just talking about consistency, and I told you, I can talk about my game for fucking ever because I have so much to work on. But on camera, it might look very really good, but my consistency is, thank God, the game today, with all the equipment today, the bowling balls today, and it makes it like, if I bowled in the 60s or the 70s, Jesus Christ, obviously everything is relative, and I would have learned to bowl differently, but like, wow, I need to hit that zone. I need to have that zone, but yeah, those are my 2 cents on consistency. Obviously, it's very relative to each individual bowler, and it's much easier to help with consistency in a one-on-one situation, because it could be so many different things. But if you can locate, or if you already know, if you saw a coach and the coach said this, and this, you obviously know what you need to work on. And usually, once you figure something out, the consistency gets better. If it's timing, release, dragging it down at the bottom, or whatever, if you're gripping and ripping it and nothing else. But yeah, it's usually, should have turned there, damn it. Yeah, that's usually what helps with becoming more consistent. But consistency is really like, you're holding on to a 15-pound bowling ball and you're throwing it at, I don't know, 17 miles an hour, 16, 17, 18, I don't know. We're talking kilometers, 22 to 3, maybe somewhere between 20 to 25 is a normal ball speed, kilometers an hour. If I had an editor, I would just tell him to, put it on the screen here, but we're not there yet. So yeah, those are my 2 cents on consistency. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this is the start of a YouTube series where we just talk bowling and talk about things that maybe aren't talked about too much in the bowling community. So if you have something that you want me to talk about, or feel like there's something that isn't talked about enough in the bowling industry, comment down below what you want to talk about, and who knows, maybe we'll talk about it in the next video. Alright guys, bowl smart, hit that subscribe button, because the more subscribers, the more reach we get, because we want to reach as many bowlers as we want. So bowl smart, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.